Okay, well, we're already rolling. So,
Yeah.
Dave Kushner in the house, everybody. I feel very privileged to have you. Okay, well, we're already rolling. So,
Yeah.
Dave Kushner in the house, everybody. I feel very privileged to have you. Also, really wanted someone to play the guitar, so thank you. And this is our very own Mitchell guitar, and it sounds pretty good.
It plays really well.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
I'm not trying to do a commercial.
No,
for,
I'm not trying to do a commercial either.
Private brands or anything, but
No,
I
but,
will tell
you know,
it feels very nice.
When it's good, it's good.
I mean, I wouldn't keep it in my hands sitting here if it wasn't
If it didn't feel
comfortable.
good. Yeah. Well, it looks good too. So these are actually the guitar. I think if this is a D120, and I think it is. Oh, it's a D150. These are the new ones. These are the new ones. Okay, so I was going to say, I usually give away. Well, because I haven't seen them. I always do the D120s. These are the ones I give away. Okay, so now I've been noticing that the stock has been kind of running low. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, little did I know
that I was going to bring the D150.
This D150 is coming out. And so this is what we'll be giving people now. We give like 100 of those to veterans every year through Challenge America. So now they'll look at you and say, look, this is what Dave Kushner was playing.
That's right.
The one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend.
Stop it.
I'm just, okay, I have to tell you because I already told them. I'm a little jealous. I think I told you already. Because last year and the last 2 years, my band played for Spanish Heritage.
Oh, that's
and
right.
I also felt like...
Because your husband is...
My ex-husband...
Is of Hispanic descent?
He's Mexican.
Okay.
100% Mexican. I actually met him in Mexico. Okay, so I'm not Mexican at all. I'm 100%
stop it.
White Texan. I know. Shocking. You would never know.
Which is how you got into UT.
I got into UT because I'm smart.
Well, that's
and I play the oboe. So I also got into USC for the same reasons.
Really?
I actually got a full ride.
Really?
To USC on the oboe. God. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I did.
But is that why you got it? But also it didn't hurt that you were a Texas resident? Because I heard that's like...
Well, this was back in the 90s. So, you know, it was a different... I think it was a different ball game, if you will, back then. But
I only say all of this because my son is a senior.
Yeah.
And we're...
Going to Austin.
Doing all that and, well... I don't know now because it's like...
I know. I've heard horror stories. It's very difficult. Like, people that are super smart can't get in.
And like 90% of the people they take are Texas residents.
Okay. Well, it kind of should be that way. I mean, I am from Texas.
Yeah.
And I'm a 4th generation Longhorn. So, I mean, it's like mind blowing.
I'm a 3rd generation Angelino.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So anyway, I was just a little bit jealous today, and there's a lot more people out there.
I apologize. It's very, honorable of you to then invite me into the studio right afterwards.
Even though I'm very jealous.
Searing.
No, it's just you're cooler than I am.
No,
I'm actually not really cool.
I'm not really that cool either.
Well,
I just
everybody
did cool
thinks
things.
You are. People think you're.
I've done some cool
people
things.
People thinks you're cool. You're definitely the coolest person at Guitar Center at the moment. So just own it. Maybe I'll get you like a sash or a hat or something. Don't you want like
because everyone needs
coolest
a
GC employee?
Yeah.
We could just pass it down to each person.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm burning to tell you this because you were talking about speaking Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you, I'm not Mexican, but I lived in Mexico because I played in an orchestra there after UT. So I drove my little Honda Civic down there every weekend.
With your oboe?
With my oboe in tow. And then I would come back. And then they invited me to play in Guadalajara, so I couldn't drive there. So I drove all the way down there and then stayed. And that's where I met my ex.
Wow.
And we play in a band together still. So
really?
Yeah.
There you go. What's the band called?
Sangre Nueva. Even though now he's like, we were Sangre Nueva at one time, but now we're like Sangre Vieja. But I'm like, it's the music that's the new blood.
Yeah.
Not us, the people.
Well, look at Fleetwood Mac. You know, they went through a lot of that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They didn't change the name.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're not changing it. We're not changing it.
Yeah.
That's the way it's going to be. So anyway, but I want to tell you that I have this really good friend. Her name's Maya Barrera.
Uh-huh.
And the reason I went to USC was actually because of her, because I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go to like Cal Arts or USC.
Wait. You went to UT and USC?
So I did my undergrad at UT. Then I lived in Mexico for 4 years, played in the symphony. Then I decided there was a lot of Americans there that had like escaped the Vietnam War. So I was like, I don't want to turn out like these guys. Like
in Guadalajara.
Yeah, they just were not, just older. Like, I mean, now they're my age now. I was in my 20s.
Right.
And they were like twice as old as me. And I was just like, oh, I've got to do more in life. Like, this isn't the ceiling.
Right.
Like, I need to do more. So I decided to go to USC. And Maya Barrera, she doesn't speak Spanish, but it's because her father wanted them to kind of assimilate.
Right.
So it was like the opposite of what you were saying, where like the kids were speaking English so that their parents wouldn't know what they were talking about. But it was like the opposite. So she's like also very upset now that she doesn't like speak Spanish. But it was like the opposite reason. So I just wanted to see if you were aware of that.
I am now.
Yeah.
This is kind of like me interviewing you.
Why?
I don't know. It's cool.
Only because I'm talking about myself right now. Okay, so let's switch it. So we're talking about giving music, and so I'd like to know. I mean, I'd like to know how you first got your start in music.
I'd like to know if you've ever given music before.
If you have ever given music? I mean, I guess every time we play live or a show, you're giving music.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You've given a lot of music.
Yeah.
I mean, how many shows have you played, do you think, in your life?
I've never been asked that. I have no idea.
There's no way to count either.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But
honestly.
Thousands.
Probably.
And played for like millions of people.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, when I was before Velvet Revolver, I was never in any bands that were even, close to that big. So when that band started and then we started playing shows, I remember when we first, might have been the second day we ever played with them. We were like kind of auditioning, but not really at that point. But I remember him saying like, oh, dude, we're going to be playing stadiums. Because I'd known Scott longer than anyone else in the band.
Scott Perkins.
Scott Weiland.
Thank you. Okay.
And so.
My bad.
It's okay. And then I was like, really? And then, like, whoa, really? But it sounded a little, because I had never been it just was so far.
How old
beyond,
were you?
I was 34.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was older. And I was, but then we played. Oh, but it was funny because then we started touring, but we started out in like smaller clubs, like theaters. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
what happened
wait
to
a
stadiums?
minute. Yeah. But then eventually we got there and then it was crazy. And we played a lot of soccer stadiums in South America.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, we played all soccer stadiums in South America.
Okay, so I'm sure people have asked you this before, but is it harder to play for a stadium or in a smaller venue? Like, do you feel the difference?
I find that it's a lot easier for me to play to a bigger crowd.
Yeah.
Because you're very separate.
Yeah.
And you're so far away.
You can't see 'em.
Yeah, you can see them, but even in the front, there's like so much distance between the stage, like the front, and then there's like that whole huge area where the security guards are, then there's the barricades, and they're like pretty far. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's just harder. Like, it's harder to play in an intimate setting for me.
Yeah.
Because I make a lot of mistakes and then people can hear them.
And they're like, and you can see it on their face. They're like,
oh. They're like,
yeah. Or if you see someone yawn or something.
Yeah. Or just look at their phone or they just look disinterested.
Yeah. And then it's like a total mind fuck. You're just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I also don't like talking when I'm playing, like the talk in between the songs. Like he's always like, say something in English to everybody. And I'm like, how's everybody doing out there? I just can't, it feels so awkward.
Yeah, luckily I never had to deal with it.
You never did, okay.
No.
But okay, so going back though, what was your first musical gift? I mean, like
that I gave or that I received?
That you received. And then we'll talk about what you've given.
Well, I will say that, I was talking about earlier today, I guess I kind of got it, but it wasn't really given as a gift, but I got, my first guitar was a nylon string acoustic Spanish guitar, classical guitar that my mom had, and it was just sitting in the house, like in the corner, leaning against a wall. Yeah. And then I had messed around with it a couple times, but I wasn't like fully interested really. And then eventually I just kind of started playing it more and more. And then, I guess an actual gift that I did get that I still have is, I was saying out there that like, I found out I'm half Mexican, and my great grandfather and his father both played, flamenco guitar at the intermission of the bullfights in Mexico, because they were my mom's family was from Michoacan, and my grandfather also played guitar and was a painter, and then I eventually got a nylon string of his that I have in my storage still, and he painted the case.
Oh wow,
which is cool. Yeah, he was crazy good artist.
Wow.
Yeah, we have this like Last Supper, those copper etchings?
Yeah.
Where it looks like a penny, but it's like this big. We have one of those that he made when he was in the hospital of the Last Supper that's in my house. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like this big. It's so detailed that like on Jesus's toe, you see like a fingernail on his toe. It's crazy. Yeah.
I have to see this thing.
It's pretty awesome.
Wow. How and what did he do that with? Like,
I don't know, honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, so going back to this guitar, so was it a crappy guitar, or was it?
It was a Hondo. Yeah, it's not great.
It's not, because we had a guitar as well, and I wanted to be like Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music, when she's like running with the guitar, but it was like such a piece of shit. Like you couldn't play it at all. Like,
you can cuss on this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can cuss on Gabe's, but you can cuss on mine.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, back to this guitar. So that was the spark for you. So it was your family. And I think a lot of people actually have the same experience. Either, their mom was a musician, or they made them play piano, or, but when did it start speaking to you? Because you said at first you were like, whatever.
Yeah, I tried. It was hard. I didn't, get it. I took lessons. There was a guitar class at school, but they wouldn't let you play with a pick, and they wanted you to play all with your fingers, and I didn't want to learn that.
Okay.
And so I just would sit in the back like with a pick, and then
do you think that your teacher like remembers you?
I don't think so.
Because wouldn't it be cool to like call him up and be like, ha 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 ha,
Yeah.
It would be so cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's probably dead, bless his heart.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But yeah, so I just gave up. And then I was then punk rock, because this was like in the early 80s. So like punk rock was really happening in LA, like Black Flag, Circle Jerks, like all those bands, going to Starwood, seeing bands, So I would do all that, and then, cut my hair, and super into it. And then singing in
you
punk
had hair.
rock. Yeah, I had hair back then.
Yeah. I just always felt like you were bald for some reason.
I always was not.
Yeah.
Not until my 30s when it started getting a little thin.
Okay, so it's been a while.
The makeup artists over there.
Okay,
that's why I spent a half hour in makeup before.
Yeah, right. What was your first giving of music? And I mean, besides playing for people.
Wait, so to finish that last thing,
sorry.
I just remember. So then, but punk rock was really the thing that drove it, because I started going to these shows. I started singing, because I was singing. But then there was this girl in this band called Mad Society, Kathy Sample. I remember her uncle was in the Samples, like the R&B, but she showed me how to play a bar chord.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what? I could play
Everything just like that.
like every song. And she's like, no, you have to learn the other bar chord, which is, you know.
I love that it was a female who was giving music.
Yeah.
Love
And
that.
she showed me how to play bar chords. And as soon as I learned that, I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Really?
I mean, I don't know if but I was
You got
really
the
like
bug.
super, super into it. And then trying to play solo. And then I got to a point where I could move my fingers, but I didn't know where I was going. And I was just playing like every day. No lessons at the time. Oh no, I took a couple lessons. But yeah, it was just like.
Well, also I think the interesting thing about the guitar, and tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Because I don't play guitar. I've tried to learn a little bit and just get frustrated. But there's not like a right way to play. Like you can basically, if you can finger it some way that's really, spread out and it works for you that way, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or, whatever, you make it work for your own self.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so
yeah,
it's like
you can.
there's no rules per se, of like how you're supposed to.
I mean, there's
Probably better techniques.
there's like theory,
Yeah.
rules and stuff, but I guess in a sense, there's no. I guess to reverse engineer it, in a sense, you don't need to know the rules to do it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there is
And
like
you can just play something that sounds cool, and you don't know it's a A sus.
right.
Whatever.
Exactly. And that's how I am with piano, because even though I know music theory, for some reason I really struggle with piano. Like I tried to, even up until I remember during the pandemic, I was like, I'm gonna learn piano, and I just kind of play by ear, even with because I don't really. Because it's just takes too long, and working as a composer, I would be like, okay, well, this sounds good. And, oh, well, I know that that's a third, but then I would play like all these other things. And it's like, I don't even know if I'm doing it right, or is the octave supposed to be 2 octaves away or 1 octave? And I just hit one note, or do I double up on the octave? Like, I didn't know. I still don't.
Well,
but I remember
that's cool. That's what makes it great.
Yeah, I tried to learn. I learned, maybe I'm amazed, like the whole intro. And then, like off of YouTube, and then I didn't play it for like 3 weeks, and I forgot the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyways, gift. Let's talk about gifts.
Yeah, the gift of music. When have you given music?
My whole
do you
life,
teach
dude.
lessons? Have you
I have.
taught lessons? You've had students?
Not necessarily. I did do a master class, but you had to pay for it, so it's not really giving.
No, it's not giving at all, is it? It's getting paid.
It's not. Yeah, it's taking. It's taking is what it is. It's a big act of selfish.
I think it's probably a little of both.
Hey, I'm giving the wealth of
Your knowledge and talent.
and experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever. I've given away a lot of stuff, actually.
Okay.
I do, because over the years, I mean, obviously, especially in Velvet Revolver, I get a ton of free stuff, like guitars, and, even if I didn't have, endorsements with a specific company, I could still call another company and say, hey, can I get one of those blah, blah, blahs? And they're like, yeah, sure. And so I have a ton of guitars from, Charvel and Fender and Gibson and ESP and all these companies that, have been very generous with me. And I feel incredibly lucky. But then, at times, like 10 years later, I have a ton of guitars in storage too, like an old Charvel that I got, and someone says, hey, do you have I'm looking to buy blah, blah, blah. And if I really like the person and they're a good person, then I'll just give them the guitar.
Aw.
I would do that with Rob, because he's
Have you given him one?
super. I haven't given Rob one yet.
Okay.
But
Being recorded, right?
yeah.
I
didn't say I'm gonna give you a guitar.
I've
But I'm
given
saying
Rob
like
a
that.
lot of guitars.
But he's the kind of guy, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just like a good person, where you're like,
Yes.
that dude, like, I do believe in,
Giving music.
Well, I think I just come from a service kind of mindset. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know that if I'm helping you get what you want, then I'm not thinking about myself.
Yeah.
And what I'm not getting. And then I just feel better, throughout in my life. So I've kind of learned.
So it is selfish because it makes you feel better.
Exactly. But other people benefit.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, it does. But it is that. And yeah, so I give away so much stuff, like, and not for altruistic reasons,
Right.
just to like,
Yeah.
like, oh, that guy deserves it. I'm giving not for like God points or anything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
that guy's awesome. I'm going to give him
Yeah.
something, stoke him out.
I love that. You have
Yeah.
a lot, so you have a lot to give. That's awesome. That's how everybody should be, I think.
I agree.
So talk about this service mentality a little bit more. I mean, have you always had this mentality? Is it newly adopted?
I think when it got more like honed in on when I quit drinking and everything and all the stuff. Then it got, I mean, I've always kind of been, nice.
Giving,
I
yeah.
think, ish. But, when you're doing a lot of alcohol and drinking and other things, it's like, I mean, even then I was still nice, but I was just like a mess. Like I would see some friend of mine. I remember I had this friend, Chris, and I remember seeing him in the parking lot, and I'd been drinking a lot, and I was like, yeah, Chris, what's up, dude? And I ran and like tackled him, and he like, hit his head, and my
It
knees
came from love.
Yeah, and my knees were bleeding, but I was never like mean, like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, but then
Is he okay?
he's actually passed away.
Oh.
Sadly,
But not from that.
Not from the tackle.
Okay.
But he did end up in jail that night, I remember, because he was drinking too. My buddy Chris Shaw. And yeah, then when I quit drinking, I think that I kind of got new tools for living, sober. And I think you have to kind of learn different things to adjust in life. It's like me adjusting to the corporate world.
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I was going to
at Guitar
ask you
Center.
about that.
But, it's like, I think if I think foundationally you have to have a strong foundation. And I think that I got that from just, doing those things and learning these new tools. And a lot of it is, service. And I think, people left to my own devices, I will think about myself, and
We all will, yeah.
and the
We're all
more
very selfish.
Yeah. And look, I can think anything shitty if I think about it too long, which is usually like over 2 minutes or something. You know what I mean? Because even if you get like a big check and you're like, oh, I just got this big check, and like, wait a minute, those other guys got more than, yeah, but I mean, is it big or is it actually like, and then I gotta, so it's,
Okay, so you have to like train yourself to be positive
yeah,
about things, not look at the half empty,
Yeah.
glass half empty.
yeah. Like my friend Paul, I have this really good friend of mine, Paul Hughes, and he wrote this book called The Three Mantras recently. And it's like, the three mantras are, there's nothing to get, help others get what they want, and this will turn out better than I could imagine. And it really, like, if I really kind of stick to that, it's actually really incredibly simple yet helpful. His book is awesome. Like, I mean, he's one of my closest friends and I've known him forever, but I didn't know half the stuff that he talked about in the book. And it's really well written.
Like about himself?
Yeah.
Or- okay.
I mean, because basically it's like his journey of how he got to really living and adhering to those principles, but also how he came upon them and discovered them. But like, it starts where he was want to jump out a window in Vegas, but the windows don't open, and so it's a interesting,
Yeah.
and he was like, he used to do this comedy show, and it was like this sponsored by Playboy. So he's like, there's playmates around, and he's like, but he's so miserable. He wants to jump out a window. So
right.
It's like you could have all these things on the outside that look like, oh, dude, you got and you and you could still want to jump out a window.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that's kind of the bottom that pushed him towards discovering that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So now I feel like we lost, because did you give lessons? I don't know how we got off on like.
Giving, because it was because we were talking about the
service mentality. Yes,
and then like giving away a bunch of stuff. And,
okay. So that's okay. So how I'm curious.
Yes.
How did you come across this gig, this job?
Well, so
did you get recruited?
No.
Were you looking for it? Because I saw the job posting.
Yeah. I can hear what you're thinking. You're like, you are no way qualified for what that job said.
Not at all. Not at all. That's right. Not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that it's just not something that I think you'd be like, oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
This is me.
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
Not director. Senior director.
Senior director. Okay, I'm sorry, sir. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. Senior director. I got it. You're above me in this corporation. All right, I get it. I get it. I see what you're doing here.
I don't know where I am. Oh yeah, I'm in private brands room. I'll stop banging on this.
Okay.
Anyways,
here,
oh,
I'll take it from you. I've got this nifty stand over here. Plus, now I know this is a brand new.
We can cut this part out. You got enough film? I know I'm talking a lot. Whoa. Careful. Okay. Anyways,
all right.
How did the job come about?
Yeah.
Basically, I was. How did it? Okay, let me not over-explain. Very simply, I'll go back to like when I was 12. That's I'm like here, and I slowly start to go. Well, then I need to include the part, and then if they don't know that, then this won't make sense.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like that. So, anyways, basically, my wife's one of her best friends is Karen Holland, who is now the senior director of visual merchandising here at Guitar Center.
Oh, cool. she
got the job right before I was even interested, but she would come to our house, and because she was I'll say best man. She was the maid of honor at my wedding.
Okay.
So I've known her for like 20
cool.
something years since
okay.
as long as I know my wife. And she has been on tour with us, like in Velvet Revolver. She came on tour and like would hang out and whatever.
Oh, yeah,
and so,
cool.
so she was asking me all these questions about, like when you go into Guitar Center, what do you because she's not a musician,
right? Yeah.
But she would, to kind of research for the job. She's like, do you see this and blah, blah, blah. So she's asking me all these kind of visual merchandising type questions. And then I think it was my wife that was like, why don't you get a job at Guitar Center? Or I don't remember exactly how it was posed to me.
Yeah.
But, like I'll always, if someone has like a real job, I might go like, I want a job. And then I think my wife was actually the one that found the listing maybe. And she's like, you could do that. And I read it and I was like, yeah, I don't know. But, because I think there's, in the past, there's been that part of my brain that's like, you are no way qualified to do any of that except how to play music. Mm-hmm. And which wasn't even a requirement. So, I just thought, well, I mean, I get kind of going, maybe I could do that. And it just seemed interesting to me because so going back like, maybe in the last year before that, it's like I'd worked as a composer for like 14 years, and it was kind of slowing down. Mm-hmm. And also, AI is kind of taking a lot of the low-hanging fruit jobs, like the music in the background of a reality show, like library music and all this stuff. So I was like, yeah, what am I going to do? And then, so this all started. Oh, and then I had made a master class for guitar for beginning and intermediate guitar playing.
Okay.
On my own to sell. And then I got really kind of into it, and I was like, oh, I want to make another one for composers. Because like I said to you earlier, like when I started composing, I didn't know anything. I didn't know the rules. I didn't know,
What a cue was.
I didn't know what a cue was. I didn't know what a spotting session was, or I didn't know how to work the time code. I didn't know how to bring a movie into a Logic session. I didn't know anything. And there's a lot of guys over the years that have asked me, like, dude, can I come sit with you at the studio? Like, a lot of band guys that want to learn that.
Oh, okay,
and so I thought, I should make one of, I should make one of those, a composing masterclass. And then, to be honest, I also thought about doing one for kind of like mental health stuff, because I think that there's so much, when I was in Velvet Revolver, there was so much that I dealt with as far as, these really kind of crazy, episode of behind the music type of situations that I thought I don't want to say I wasn't prepared for, but that I had never experienced. And it was a lot of the kind of service mindset and kind of like these ways of dealing with it, like really not internalizing those things and realizing like, oh, that guy's like that because, he doesn't have the tools to deal with his whatever, insecurity or whatever. And
it's like band members or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and then like making sure that I had like a network of people to talk to, and when I, wanted to isolate, that I made sure that I would call someone so that I wasn't isolated and just alone with my thoughts and like all these like kind of things that I think are important that people don't really talk about.
Yeah.
That are important, just especially in creative situations, to survive, and to thrive, for lack of a better term. And so I thought about doing all of these things right before this job came out. So I was kind of like
already in that
in that mode, and it was
educating mode.
And so it was a little serendipitous, I think.
Well, that's so cool. We're so fortunate. I think that's great because I think especially in today's world, you have to, kind of pick a lot of different things and make a career because, playing oboe, that's not exactly lucrative. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't.
Luckily, Nutcracker season.
I figured you just did this for the altruistic reasons.
The altruistic reasons.
Because yours, like, it's a foundation.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. I would, though.
It's for fun.
I would. Like, if I was independently wealthy, I would do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So
because it feels good to be of service.
Yes, it does.
Right?
It does. Yeah, it feels great.
That's what I'm saying.
I love it. Yeah. It's so rewarding.
Yeah.
Very rewarding.
It's the best.
But anyway, so I think you have to cobble together all these different things. Like you have to be able to teach. Because most people don't know how to teach when they get out of college.
Right.
You have to be able to teach. You have to be able to play a gig. Now, sometimes you have to improvise. You have to go into a studio. Now you have to record at home.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole skill set nobody had before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Now you have to know how to record yourself. So I think that's brilliant. I think that's great because it's not just about your instrument.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's not just about that anymore. Music education is so much more than that. And, I was talking to somebody at USC about the music industry program or, kids that are coming into that. They know how to do everything. They know how to compose for film. They know how to do stuff on Pro Tools.
They do.
No, well, okay. What I'm just saying is that
because I have two teenagers,
and they know how to do everything. But they do have some level of knowledge.
Yeah, no, they totally know. Like, it's funny because it's like with teenagers, it's like they actually do know, but then they think they know more but they don't have the experience.
Right.
Like they have the knowledge, they just don't have time mixed in with it, but it's interesting.
Yeah, but that will come.
Yeah, to your point, of course, like with the internet and the advent of the internet and all that stuff, it's crazy. Like I've learned so much stuff on YouTube, like, or just ChatGPT. Like, how do I change? Because I like fix it. Because all my jobs, as I was trying to make a living as a musician, were like building sets
Okay, I was going
TV.
to ask you, like, what day jobs have you had throughout your career?
Mostly they were art department jobs on TV and film, commercials, music video sets.
So is that how you got into film composing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Totally unrelated. It was just like the best job you could get as a non-college degree person.
Okay.
Graduate.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know how to say it right.
Yeah.
But, like most of my
you're just trying to
friends.
be protective of that group of people.
Well, a lot of my friends that I went to school with, like I went to school with Slash. We went to Fairfax High. Tracy Guns from LA Guns and the guys from the Chili Peppers. And, it's like we all, and the guys in my old band. I mean, Scott went to college, but like most of us, took the GED. We got out of high school.
So y'all could go on the road, right?
And we could, I went straight into music school, actually. I went to Musicians Institute in Hollywood for a year. So, but but then you don't make a living right away. So it's like I know how to build stuff. I know how to make stuff. So
that's great.
I did that.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and so how did you have to fill gaps when like you weren't on the road, or were there ups and downs, or did you have like a golden era where y'all were on the road all the time with Velvet Revolver, for example?
I mean, once, look, when I met my wife was like 3 months before I got in the band, 3 or 4 months.
And y'all are still married.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. We've been married almost 20, I think it's 22 years this December.
Wow.
21 or 22.
That's
I think
awesome.
it's 22.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, and we've built this awesome life, but like when I met her, I had $200 in the bank. I like nothing, and I would do these art department jobs and, they're not really consistent, but you make good money. I mean, I was actually going to join the union, the Set Builders Union.
Oh, okay.
I
thought you meant like Local 47.
No. Well,
are you in the union?
No. Oh yeah.
I'm
the Musicians Union. Of course I am.
Cut that out.
No, but yeah, Set Builders Union.
Oh.
And
so you were doing it a lot.
Yeah, and I was about to join. I was about to ask my dad. I had asked my dad to borrow $2,500 to join the union, and then I got in the band. And then I was like, hold on, let me see what happens with this band. But then we were looking for a singer for 10 months. So we would rehearse 5 days a week, the four of us, me, Duff, Slash, and Matt. And then 5 days a week. And then it took us 10 months to find. So I had no money. I was like, those guys all had money. I'm like doing like odd jobs, or I actually got a job at the rehearsal studio at Mates. I'm pointing at him because he's wearing a Mates shirt. Oh. Yeah, Bobby. But Bobby, the owner of Mates, was like, he was already a friend, and I was like, dude, I don't know. He's like, dude, why don't you just come here? You work here. And so he gave me a job. So I would like build the storage things, and I would do cartage, and I would work from like 8 to 2, and then I'd be there, and then I'd rehearse 2 to 6, and then I'd go home and do it all over
again
for the first 10 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
The glamorous life.
So glamorous. But then from that point on, when like we got our first thing, I think we did the first thing we ever did was for the Italian Job. We did a cover of Money by Pink Floyd for the Italian Job. And at the same time we did our first original song came out on the Hulk soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
And between those two things, we got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy because it was that time of like, the big blockbuster movies. And if you debuted a song, and I'll credit our manager at the time, David Kushner, with coming up with that.
Oh, wow.
But he's like, yeah, we're going to do this first, and then we're going to shop a record deal. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then so we had all this money. And
that's great.
And from that point on, it was just like that for 6 years.
Okay.
Straight. Like,
that's great.
Just people throwing money. Oh. Like, hey, do you want a bag of money? Yes. Oh, cool.
I would love a bag of money. I'm always asking
No, I'm
people
not
for
offering
bags
you
of money.
one. I'm saying like, that's what they said to me. That's what happened.
Yeah, I got you. No, I mean, that's basically my job, is asking for bags of money, to give the gift of music. That's awesome. I don't know if you have a time constraint, because it's 4:40, and
I could talk for a little more.
You for like an hour, but then they, broke into my time with showing off the set and everything.
Yeah.
Because Rob does such a great job with this.
He does.
And I really wanted them to see it.
He does a lot of great jobs.
He does. He also helps the foundation. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
I worked this man to death, almost near death, during the fire situation, because we got all these amazing donations of instruments. But what you don't think about is you got to then pack them and ship them to all these hundreds of people. And that was that man right there. So. And this is his brainchild.
He's a gem.
Yeah, this is his brainchild. So
I can't believe all this stuff, like the production stuff and the camera. The lighting.
I understand you have like a real like appreciation and respect for it.
I do.
Having almost.
Well, you know what's funny? When I did the master class, I had to borrow a bunch of stuff like this from my friend Bobby, and he came and set it up. Same lights, all like in my studio, and it's just the fact that he had it.
Where
but then knew how to work it all.
This masterclass, how can we access that? Is it like online or something?
It's on DaveKushner.com.
Oh, DaveKushner.com.
Yeah,
everybody.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Well, I'm really excited about the lessons program. As you know, coming from a music education program background, I saw the job posting actually and was like, I wonder if like I could do both. No, I was just thinking like. But I mean, it's such a different beast than what I used to do. With like community arts education is totally different.
I'm glad I didn't get that job. Because that, luckily, I love John Bianchetti, who is the vice president of music education, and he and I started the same day together. So it was cool, to be on this ride with him, and he's awesome. And but when I look at the level of, I really admire the fact that and appreciate the fact that, the level of responsibility that he has for a lot of things that there's like no way. Like if I had to do like half the stuff he does, this place would be like, there wouldn't even be a lessons program anymore within like 3 months. Like they'd be like, why did Guitar Center stop doing lessons? Yeah. Dave Kushner. Exactly. No, it's just so, it's a corporation. So there's just so many elements to manage. All of it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy.
But it's so great. I think a lot of people don't know that we do lessons. And I think that there is such a like heartbeat of musicians giving music. I mean, they're getting paid, but they're very passionate about it. And everybody who's talked about their first, gift of music, it's always been like some amazing teacher or crappy teacher that like, inspired them to play or change their minds about music. And so I think we should celebrate that more, because I think that's a really cool aspect, and we don't talk a lot about the teachers.
For things like that, like, I want to do a spotlight on teachers. I want to do a spotlight on students, and put that stuff out there in Guitar Center stories.
Yeah, nobody really,
like Robert was saying today. Robert Trujillo from Metallica was here today at our campus, and like when he was like on the outside after hours on Guitar Center Sunset looking at Eddie Van Halen inside trying out keyboards, or like all those stories are, everyone has one. Every musician I know has one.
Everyone.
Whether they're famous or not.
Yeah,
it's like, and also like why lessons matter.
Yeah.
Because I went to music school, it was of paramount importance to my playing, and Robert went to Dick Rose School of Music that used to be in the Valley, and I was talking to Brooks, who's Chad Wackerman, who's like a really insane drummer that played with Zappa and Steve Vai, and his younger brother is Brooks, and Brooks plays with Infectious Grooves, which I play in, and Robert, and Brooks also plays in Avenged Sevenfold, and and lately, since I got the job, every time I have an idea, it's like I just like start asking everyone, like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I'm around, because we were rehearsing for some Infectious shows. Like I'm around Brooks and Robert, and we're at Mates, and Mates is like we one day at rehearsal, there's only 3 rooms where this part of Mates is. So it was like us in one room, some other new band, and System of a Down.
Oh, wow.
And so we were all like, and everyone
Hanging out.
hangs out,
Yeah.
knows each other in the parking lot or, whatever. And I'll just ask everyone like, hey, what do you think of, and I said it to Brooks and he's like, oh, dude. Yeah. He's like, I couldn't play a 2.5 hour set with Avenged Sevenfold if I didn't know proper technique, for playing drums and,
for sure.
All that. And then I said, what do you think about GC Stories? Like, you must have a Guitar Center story. He's like, oh, dude, I remember like my brother Chad, because his brother's older, and Chad would do drum clinics a lot, and Guitar Center used to do drum clinics more. And he's like, yeah, I remember like he actually doesn't talk like that. But he was saying that he remembers his brother doing a clinic at Guitar Center Hollywood, and Brooks went with him, and Tommy Lee was there watching Chad Wackerman do the clinic because of how good Chad was.
That's awesome.
And, Brooks is like, oh my God, dude, Tommy Lee's here. Let's go get like my hero. Like, he's just freaking out. And it's just funny, like that his brother was the guy that Tommy Lee was coming to see.
Yeah, totally. Of course.
It's like all that stuff is just, it sounds goofy, but it all centers around Guitar Center.
It's the music education experience.
Yeah. And just music in general. It's been such an important part of, and I'm not saying it as a plug, but it really has been this hub for music forever. And it's like, even when you go on tour, you're like, oh, dude, I gotta find a Guitar Center. Tour, I need some strings, or I need blah, blah, blah. Can you go to Guitar Center and get, it's just like an automatic, it's like Google, like, oh, I need whatever. And, my hope is to really kind of put bring my, passion for the brand. It sounds silly, but it's like in a real way, if I can be a part of, and you think about this when you have kids, it's like, if I can be a part of the last brick and mortar music store, and that's part of my legacy, like that's a big deal. Yeah. So I hope to be able to be a part of that as my, through my role in Guitar Center. But I'll tell you a real quick story. So the reason I say that is because, when I was in Velvet Revolver, our second record, we were supposed to do it with Rick Rubin, right?
Okay.
And Robert Trujillo was doing the Death Magnetic record with Rick at the same time, right? So Rick is doing these 2 records, and I think he might have been doing U2 at the same time. So all 3 records. But Rick is very, when Rick comes in, he's very like, he's not super hands-on when it comes to like in the room. He's there, he will be there and he'll listen, but it's like his ears and the vibe that he hears. But he does this thing where he will give you like this inspirational speech, this inspirational talk that's like, and I remember he came to Matt's house, and we were all at Matt's house, and I'd known Rick from when he first started Deaf American, and he's like, there was at one point where he's like, listen, he goes, you have to think of this record like your legacy. Like, this record will live on beyond your kids, beyond your grandkids. This will be your stamp in time on the music, on music history, and he's like, so you should think about it that way. And you should, go back to that 16-year-old kid that wanted to play music, that just, ate and slept and just breathed music. And, there was nothing else really that was important to you except for writing and playing music. And that's what you need to get back to, so that when you put this stamp on your place in music history, that you will be the best you can be at that thing, because that will live on forever. And you're like, whoa, what? Okay, I'm going to go. I remember calling Robert and I was like, dude, did you get the speech from Rick? And he's like, oh, dude, I'm practicing right now. Like, we both were like, but it's so That's inspiring. Cool. And, and I didn't have kids yet. I think, when we were making that record. But now that I do, I always think back to that way of thinking, like, oh man, this is, you think like I had a green artist model from Fernandez that was like the Dave Kushner model. And I'm like, I think of everything now in pairs. Like, okay, when I die, like I have 2 of those. Okay, so one for one for this kid and one for that kid. And it's like, you're always like, okay, well, if I give him the watch, then she'll give him, do I have another watch for her? No, but she's going to give her the jewelry. So I'm, and you think of everything.
It's kind of morbid.
I know, but it's just like, when you have, it's not even about dying. It's more about having kids and
something living
and your
on.
legacy. Yeah. So
that's a good wrap.
Yeah.
That's a really good rap.
All right, cool.
Take lessons at Guitar Center.
That's right.
Yeah.
Take lessons.
I love it.
All right.
You made it to the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed it. It was so inspirational for me. If you enjoyed it, please like us. Please follow us, subscribe, comment in the comments, do all the things. Go to guitarcenterfoundation.org, make a donation, help us continue to give music to people who need it the most.